Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Crystal Maiden.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Summit 7 qualifiers for the Americas region. It's going to be another best of 3 coming at you guys. Is GG going up against Thunderbirds? No, you don't have Deja Vu. They're playing it out again. I'm Mike Loris, going to be joined by MRP.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Warlock.
Dire team pick.
Hopefully, just Moon was definitely a weak link for the Thunderbirds side. Yesterday, he played a, let's just say, very underwhelming. And, well, different day. Hopefully, he's refreshed and ready to go because we know how good of a player Moonmander is capable of being if it's one of his good days. And, hey, giving him an Abaddon, definitely a hero that's it's hard to mess up on. Not saying that, you know, he needs to be given this type of hero, but hey, it's a Crystal Maiden, it's an Abaddon. You can hardly be upset about this opening. CM first especially, definitely one of the safer openings, and Abaddon definitely with that extra mana. Put the screws to that safe lane, which is GG are looking towards as well. The Warlock pick, hearing a little bit of team fight, as well as a very early Ricky pick, which I'm actually quite a big fan of.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team ban.
The IsGG are concerned with having their Ricky be the dominant force around the map. I've had so many games in a row now where Monkey King is just not picked at all, not banned at all, and it's kind of throwing me for a loop. But either way, the Treant is going to be kicked out along with that Ogre Magi, two heroes who could definitely play that Monkey King-esque style. Teams have been, you know, still willing to pick up Earth Spirit, but perhaps shying away from it a little bit nowadays, and there's still a possibility for the Thunderbird side, but you know, you got to be careful when you're pairing up with that CM, as you mentioned, very passive in the very early stage of the game, just wants to jungle, and therefore is not really going to be super eager to go into a fight. Got a little bit of hate now from Thunderbirds as CCNC's TA can be kicked out along with that Terrorblade. Just generally strong heroes, generally just very comfortable heroes that is GG tend to frequent. But hey, they already have a good amount of team fight. Maybe will have to concern themselves with a little bit of stun control or just burst damage, I guess. Yawar's Ursa now on the field.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Admiral Conker.
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Omni-Knight.
Dire team pick.
The tools that go through repel are really rare since looking at the Thunderbird side with the Abaddon already picked up. Usually those tools like Beastmaster, Batrider all go towards the offlane if they're looking to cut through the Omni-Knight Repel and get towards that Ursa. Still, this Kunkka pick, as you said, I really like it just defensively. Like, you're looking at Warlock, Ricky as teamfight on the other side, so just landing a boat makes you pretty much immune to the damage that those two heroes are able to put out. Perhaps not Fatal Bonds, but everything else for sure. And the early stage of the Kunkka is probably potentially most powerful moment, but also his riskiest, is kind of smoothed over by the fact that he'll have setup with the Crystal Maiden, and he'll have extra mana to throw those extra torrents out. So Crystal Maiden Kunkka, not a support duo we see all of that often, but definitely able to work very well, especially if IzGG pick up this heavy of a melee draft with 3 and counting. So Thunderbirds now grabbing the Weaver, and this is what I was going to say earlier, IzGG don't really have all that much to stun a Weaver. Ricky's great versus the Weaver, that's for sure, and teaming up with the Ursa, they will occasionally be able to kill the Weaver off that way, but this is a Weaver with an Abaddon. You gotta have some stuns.
Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
As far as getting a building hitter is concerned, yeah, it's going to be what IzGG want, but they also need stuns, and I'm not really sure if there are any mid lanes that do that. Dragon Knight does it. I mean, that's pretty much all he does, and I guess it's kind of feasible. It's not super likely. Shadow Fiend will be kicked out. I mean, at least IzGG will have the last pick here. So they will be able to get, at worst, an even matchup for that mid lane. Plus, they have the Ricky, so they should be able to pull together something decent. And looking at the Thunderbird side, looking for that mid lane hero of Wii to be picked up now. Again, the pool isn't really all that deep, but just someone like an Invoker just seems decent here. An Ice Wall will completely crush IzGG in team fights.
Tinker.
Radiant team pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Ember is a hero that they can kind of sack in the mid lane. Won't have a great time versus Tinker, but will have a good time trying to catch up to a Tinker. And Chains is, again, not really great versus Weaver, but it's something for IsGG. And it is going to be picked up here as CCNC's options were very, very low by the end of it. Again, it is going to be a struggle of a lane as Thunderbirds with Kunkka, Crystal Maiden on the roam, having a Tinker with extra mana from the CM. It's going to be a brutal lane matchup for CCNC, but I'm not really sure if IsGG had many options by the end of it. No, I'm definitely on the IsGG hype train. I'm excited to see how they're going to perform, but in this particular game, I do feel like Thunderbirds have a couple of heroes who just are lacking answers on the other end.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
GG have been on a really big tear. They've already 2-0'd Thunderbirds yesterday, and it wasn't even really that close. But that was also with CCNC getting mostly his most comfortable heroes. It does seem like Thunderbirds, at least in their banning phase, definitely took that one to heart. So we'll load up into this game, and we'll see if IsGG are still, in fact, on fire, and if Thunderbirds have gotten their act together. And it does seem like, for the most part, surprises here. I mean, War's going to be loading out on the Ursa. He's got Stan King behind him. Nice solid lane, lots of healing for that Ursa, and they'll be able to bully back the Abaddon, sneaking, taking the Omni Knight up towards the north along with CCNC's Ember for right now, and Flea. He's been playing out of his mind recently. He's going to be handling the Riki, and he sees a very early CM who has a Frostbite Snowman. I don't think I've seen that before, but could be sick, I guess.
Why, thank you.
"30 seconds to battle. The battle begins.
Ooh, they pull the wave as well. It's going to mess with this bottom lane quite a bit. Yawar is off the lane right now. Not getting that bounty rune really hurts. Obviously, he's going to set himself up for a poor man shield in the near future, but it's going to be a little bit further away. So a little bit of a decent start there for the Thunderbird side. Getting a 3-1 rune split, obviously never bad. And they will be sticking around with these heroes for right now. I mean, we mentioned the Ursa being able to put the screws to an Abaddon, and that is certainly true, but not if the Abaddon isn't here. Ursa doesn't really have all that much game versus Resolution as long as he's careful with his Shikuchi's cooldown, and as long as he has a hero, really any hero kind of nearby, Resolution shouldn't die, and Yawar's take a lot of poke damage. And it's not even going to cost their safe lane either. This Omni Knight versus Evil Omni Knight matchup is pretty much perfectly even.
I think nautical.
Thought we yesterday really just struggled to get any rotations out of his lane. Without any pressure, having a decent matchup, in fact, a matchup where he's winning quite handily, definitely going to encourage him to do so, especially towards this bottom lane. I don't really know why this Satyr fired 2 shockwaves at Thunderbirds. Again, this Satyr AI is really all sorts of messed up, but either way, Thunderbirds still have a good angle on Yawar. Here comes the Snowman onto the Ursa with the right clicks to follow. Ursa will die to the hands of Saxa, and Sand King, he's way too far away to do anything about that. Flea left the lane, which I don't think Thunderbirds knew for sure, but either way, we will actually end up killing CC&C. Okay, 2-0 for Thunderbirds, a pretty good start. This is going to be, so far, 3 lanes winning pretty handily from the Thunderbird side. I guess, you know, top lane is going to be more so a wash, but Abaddon offensively definitely has a little bit more than the Omni Knight. The shield is pretty much matched by Purification, but this curse, this blade, it definitely does a lot more than Degen Aura. As great as Degen Aura is, its curse lets you kill things, and Degen Aura really doesn't. So there you are. It's going to be in a little bit of a scuffle again with Resolution and Saxa. Really wants his Kunkka because he knows he's dead. He'll clap once more, but that will be his death on the bottom lane. Again, no one helping out this Ursa. He mentioned earlier Yawar and Sneaking kind of being sacrificial at the expense for CC&C, but not like this. CC&C is going to have to carry a lot if Yawar's not able to get Jack on this bottom lane.
This'll come in handy.
Bot.
Stop. You were my target all along.
As the Riki, you kind of have to go all in for these plays. You know that bottom lane is pretty much a lost cause at this point. A Riki being there is going to do very little to influence the outcome of that lane, so you may as well go and try to gain something elsewhere. Omni Knight dropped the Abaddon really low, but Abaddon has since healed up, so Riki moving up towards top maybe not going to be very useful, and then at that point it's like, well, the only place you can go is towards this Tinker, so a much needed kill for the IsGG side. Flea gonna get himself into the game a little bit, and getting CC&C closer to the level 6 mark increases the kill power substantially on Wii, who already is at that level 6 mark. But we can see this is a pretty desperate act. You are level 3 Ursa, 5 minutes in, now jungling. Feels bad, man.
Tribute to my house. Gold and sweet.
Tanking, narrowly dodging what could have been a lot of damage. Saxa definitely on the aggro here. Misery hasn't really been playing your normal CM, playing a very aggressive style, and with the Kunkka, that's pretty much what you have to do. But it's still level 4, is perhaps a little bit under leveled compared to what a CM could be right now, but Get 2 kills on the lane. Can't be too upset about that. Yawar is going to return to this bottom lane along with CCNC. So this is a bait, and they're going to take it onto the Warlock, who's going to take a lot of damage, force to heal himself. They get the chains off onto the Weaver, and they will roast him. No time lapse just yet. Here comes CCNC for more. So makes a jump in, looking for Misery, chugging his bottle. One more Remnant jump, and Misery is going to not have a shrine either. That kind of sucks. He's going to snowball onto the Ember Spirit. And it will be the CM to escape, but up towards top lane now, sneaking. Wow, destroying Moon on top. Zax is going to arrive. There is nothing available, though. He actually didn't have any cooldowns because he just used it on bottom, I guess. And they have to let the Omni Knight go, so sneaking, doing a pretty darn good job top. But it's IsGG to claim a pretty nice win.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
A golden thread.
Like this, giving Saxa this mid lane for a little bit. We currently jungling, which is rather low on the stacks, but still something that Tinker can do and really should do. Getting a level 6 on this Kunkka will make Ursa's life even more difficult. Adding another stun to the combo will, you know, help him out, killing off the Ember Spirit, and it's pretty free. We see IsGG doing the exact same thing, giving Stan King that level 6 experience, but the difference is that if Stan King gets in range of an X marks, he's just dead, whereas Kunkka will never die to that Warlock. Someone who might dive towards top lane is Resolution. He's gonna get the Shikuchi off, and they had no detection. I don't know what they were expecting was gonna happen, but they forced a rotation for Moon. I guess that's not nothing, but Moon is suddenly just gonna get jumped, so bluff called, I suppose. He's gonna get his ultimate popped, get pretty much juiced back up to full HP, but now he's pretty much out of gas, hit with the smoke, and he's gonna fall. Love it. Oh, actually get to the miscoil deny, and now the rotations are coming in a big fashion. Flea taking tower shots will go down, and up top, Snowman onto the Ember Spirit, sneaking, hit with the X marks. The damage is gonna come in from Wee, coming in from the back. He has a lot of March, but not much laser missile. Still will be deployed towards sneaking with the right clicks there. He'll get into the trees and actually TP out of here. Sneaking's fine again. And now it's on to CCNC, who's gonna get X marked. He has another Spirit to jump to soon, and he will do just that off to the side, but he has no TP mana now. So I guess right now it's how do I deny myself? How do I create as much space as possible? Because he's not gonna get back home easily, especially when his escape path is being cut off by TPs and Abaddons and Crystal Maidens and frickin' Kunkkas and missiles also. You gotta remember missiles, so that's space created, I guess, but still not a great outcome for IsGG, but still a lot better than I thought since Sneaking was able to get away.
Illusion.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Smart money.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Location. All wands will break. Blessing. Great guardian, watch over.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
CCNC a little bit too trigger happy there with his chains. Otherwise, did a little bit more damage to the Weaver. It was definitely very close. But for IsGG, they are able to get out of there with no casualties. Really fortunate for them, given how that actually started. Maybe not the ideal usage of Chaotic Offering there. But hey, it's no harm, no foul. They're going to be able to keep moving forward, but bottom lane sneaking. They get teleported upon. He'll repel himself, get out of there. Lee has his travels, and he has the maxed out March. He just went for the farming build initially. And now for IzGG is really where you want to have a mega farmed Ember Spirit to hunt down that Tinker, but fortunately he is not doing too hot. It seemed like CCNC was doing a lot better than his net worth right now would indicate, but 3,000 net worth, that is not impressive in the standings of this game.
Radiant's
This'll come in
bottom
handy.
tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Never refuse gold given.
Ember Spirit just needs a little bit of time, and Duar will have that Midas acceleration as you mentioned. Unfortunately, I don't really know if that's going to be in the game plan for CCNC. If you miss this kind of early game damage period as the Ember Spirit, it is generally pretty difficult to get back into a position where you're really able to be dominant. We all know what happens if an Ember Spirit starts snowballing out of control. This is definitely not one of those games. I don't even know if last time I saw a Midas Ember Spirit, it does seem like if he's gonna get one ever, it's got to be in this game, because you need an answer to that Tinker, and if your Ember Spirit's not gonna do it, then no one's gonna do it until Uar picks up Blink Abyssal, which even then is a sketchy way of handling that Tinker. They're gonna look for Wii soon. He's teleporting out, and they arrive a little bit too late. It does feel like IzGG right now are kind of making all the necessary movements, but they're just too far behind to actually get anything done with it. And in the meantime, mid lane, bottom lane, both being pressured by Thunderbirds.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Through me. A golden thread.
Washed up. Illusion.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under
This is
attack.
not a winning game state here for IzGG. They need to make something happen, and that includes not getting heroes killed off towards top. That was a fail boat, but that's fine since they don't really need to get kills right now with Thunderbirds. They just have to keep IzGG on their toes and keep splitting up the map. IzGG, they are weaker right now. They have to group up, and no one's really dealing with what's going on in bottom lane. War tried, didn't really work out, and now Moon is working with that power farming Abaddon build. Pretty standard stuff nowadays, but still it's going to be that Midas into that Radiance. Mischance up against Ursa is an absolute nightmare for him, and
Dire's top
no
tower
one is
under
stopping
attack.
Moon. They're barely getting anything done up towards top, and this is
Under attack.
so many heroes from IzGG camping up here because they have to. They're not getting anything done. Stanking actually being tracked by bugs. A couple more shots from Rezo is going to get the kill. He'll scurry himself up to the north where he has a lot of cover. CCNC gets a purification, gets a repel. He will be able to jump away. But IzGG, if they had a Warlock right now, they'd be more than happy to make this play. They get a really nice smoke screen, though. That's going to kill off the CM with the Guardian Angel there as well. They'll start clawing down. Saxa, Rum, not going to save him. Needs to drink more than that. That's actually a pretty good turnaround from IzGG, set up by Flea, but they have to watch out now because Rezo is charging forward, looking for Uar. Blink Dagger soon with the purification there. He should be A-okay, especially when Stan King arrives. They're going to jump back in. For Moon, they see Resolution as well. There comes the Golem onto the bug. They'll squish him, and Moon, he's going to pop his ultimate, try to get a little bit of distance, but I'm not really sure if that's in the cards right now. CCNC is blocking his path. Moon's got to get out of there somehow. It's not going to be in a straight line. It will be through the grave. Wee's going to return, but IzGG make a huge turnaround. And that was all Ricky right there, and they were maybe not even done yet. Yawar gonna blink forward, looking for Saxa, has some help now from the Ricky, gets a little bit of smoke on the deck, and that'll help the Ursa solidify another kill, and over in top while sneaking gets cheesed out by Wee. With that fresh blink dagger, Tinker at least gonna get something for his team, but that was some team fight for his GG.
Regeneration.
This'll come in handy.
Healing shock.
Dagger Midas now up on the Ursa with even more gank power on the way. It looks like he's going to start building up into a little bit of invis action along with his Ricky. We got some invis gankers up in here, and for right now they're going to smoke up and go straight towards Roche. This should be something that Thunderbirds are aware of. They've been pushing this bottom lane pretty freely thus far, and should be a takedown on this tower, but Sneaking's presenting over towards mid lane. Not really something you do if you're playing normally. You know, no Roshan, got to remain not suspicious, but Sneaking will draw a couple of heroes over towards mid. That means they're going mid. That means they're not going towards Roshan. That's you are now with the double life. Still the game state to the net worth lead, technically in favor of Thunderbirds. They've been taking down the towers. They've been farming pretty well, especially with Wee on his Tinker. But as you said, it's going to be IzGG showing a little bit of a kick here in this mid game, and in another 14 seconds, who knows what's going to happen when another Warlock rock is ready. Right now, Sneaking actually is going to be jumped. Here comes a Torrent, which will be a little bit off. They kind of have to throw it out there because of Repel. They won't do that much. He also has a hood, so Sneaking is like double magic immune, although he's going to take a big laser. Turn around now here, though, but it's only onto Moon. And that is not the hero you want. The boat is going to do pretty much nothing. Never apply a little bit of armor. Now here comes your war. And the jump in from CCNC. Immediately the Tinker is down. CCNC taking a beating with the Purification. You will be just fine. Misery going to drop his ultimate, which will drive everyone back, but it will not get any kills. And somehow IzGG with AoE magic damage kill off the Tinker. Now we're on to Moon, which you are is going to take care of. CCNC's jumping in with the Ursa, maxed out Earth Shock of all things onto like 3 heroes. You don't expect that, but man, does it work. And out towards top lane, Rezo is going to get into a little bit of a skirmish here with Sneaking, who is... Yeah, and Flea is going to arrive with a little bit of smoke, but already the Shikuchi is used, and Sneaking gets purged again. He'll fall, but CCNC has arrived. For what? There's no damage. He's out of mana. Another Shikuchi looking for that Ricky resolution, but he's going to just purge up CCNC. At least he'll have a shrine. Got to the safety of that, but he has no true sight. Rezo is going to scurry away. But now IzGG off that team fight. Finally in this game with, was a little bit of a gold lead. Not anymore though.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Regeneration.
The answer from IzGG as far as dealing with that Weaver. Another one is coming up soon. Yawara's got that Shadow Blade now and is going to be going towards that Basher. Not something you really want to rely on in order to kill off a Weaver, but hey, it's another tool in the arsenal, and he's actually going to get into into the enemy woods right now. See we TP out and reveal himself to try to kill off a couple of these golems. He needs some backup, Uar. He's going to have some coming in. They're a little bit slow on the intake as they're kind of distracted by Resolution. Repel goes onto Uar, sneaking inside Purify himself. Lots of damage done to the bug. They can't track him successfully. Not enough CC here. Not enough CC&C here either with the chains. So, yeah, not really going to do all that much now, but is going to reveal the Shadow Blade of Uar. Doesn't seem like... Oh, actually, Thunderbirds are going to have a perfect read on this. Sentry is there. Uar going to wander right through it. No sentries back here, I guess. They're going in really deep, man. They really are itching to use this golem, but there's no opportunity to do so.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is falling. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, they're gonna chain two into the smoke screen, and that's immediately Tinker down. Saxa is chained up to his entire creep wave. He'll shrine once, try to get to the other one, but CC&C is right on his ass with a couple of extra heroes. Purification is there. It's a third hero picked off by IsGG. Thunderbirds, they saw a Riki. They thought it was a target, and they got baited hard because Riki has smokescreen, and smokescreen is absolutely ridiculous. That's tier 2 and now high ground? Are you kidding me? Wee's gonna have to buy back into this game. He does not have an Ags, but he still is a tanker, so he'll be able to defend. I mean, I sure hope, Thunderbirds, that top lane tower was worth it. I hope Moonmeander has some sort of game plan here because he is going toe-to-toe with CC&C and soon to be a lot of IsGG heroes. He's going to get his ultimate popped in a less than ideal situation. Chains will interrupt the TP out. He has no backup nearby. He is super dead. 14-10 and IsGG are bringing it back hard. Oh.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Don't stop the show. Take this money, dog.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
This'll come in handy.
Does seem like Wee is perhaps overestimating his own blink dagger, underestimating the blinks and mobility of the enemy side. Tinker really should not be caught in a smokescreen in a heads-up fight like that. He should be way, way, way in the back, especially since he has a freaking ether lens. Like, he has the range. He can't afford to cast at a distance and keep himself safe. You lose Tinker first thing, and you lose the vast majority of your team fight there. Smoke kind of worked. Uar missed it, unfortunately for him. I'm not really sure what they're planning on doing with an Omni Knight, Riki, and a Warlock. They're going to make a move anyway. 10 seconds left before they can actually fight, and they'll run to heroes that are actually fight ready. TP coming in. It's onto Wee. He has backup nearby, but he's going to get dropped super low, super quickly. Where's the boat? It's coming in, but it's too late. He's already dead. They're going to bring in Resolution. Stan King's going to turn around, drop his rock, stun up a couple of heroes, chains down onto Resolution. He will have time lapse available, and he should be just fine to back out of here. CC&C, though, he has a double damage rune. Will get repelled. Now here comes Uar. Straight onto the poor CM. Gets a first hit bash as well. And they've actually isolated Resolution. In the smoke still is going to fall. Moon's going to try to teleport out of there. Uar is unable to get close enough to try to roll for the bash. It's going to be Moon to survive, but everyone else on Thunderbirds dead, as we did not expect those heroes to be there. And I didn't expect them to be able to kill off a Tinker like that.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Blessings. All wands will break.
Alone with you.
Do you think this Hurricane Pike was a Dragonlance for a long time? Just recently added that Force Staff component in, and your Weaver is not supposed to be stuck in searing chains in Ricky's smoke. That is just a bad place for any hero. That right clicks 2B sneaking. He'll be flying up towards top lane. This tower will fall. Thunderbirds, they have themselves a little bit of a pick off there, and as long as we is able to handle those lanes with, as long as he's able to also keep himself safe, then Thunderbirds still are working with a lot of power, despite the lead that they once had, now do not have, despite the lead that that IsGG are controlling. Thunderbirds still have this chain stun combo, a lot of heroes that are difficult to pin down. They still have you know, the ability to bring this back if they're able to keep we at arm's length, which is going to be a difficult task. They are going to find, though, IsGG split up. Yawar into Resolution. There is a Ember Spirit Remnant here, so Resolution is going to pick a 2v1 instead of just a 1v1 as he would really like, and no True Sight there, unfortunately. They will find Stanking, but a rock drops onto 3, and Yawar's going to shred Misery again. Can't get a single spell off. Smoke drops in the middle. It's not going to do a hell of a lot, but they are going to throw the boat in. That's going to stop the Omnight. Torrent is great onto Yawar and CCNC, but it is going to be Moon Meander in the middle of things. He's going to get his ultimate popped rather early as CCNC can deploy the Arctic Blast, slow down Moon Meander just a touch, and get on top of this Abaddon. They'll lose Stand King, but it's a Warlock who already dropped his ultimate. Nobody cares about that. Resolution, he's going to be one of the few remaining heroes still in this fight, but Thunderbirds, they lose 3, and so maybe they'll be able to cheese out one more with a lot of missiles coming in. CCNC going to dodge it with Repel there as well. Wee is going to do a lot of damage, and hopefully for Resolution to clean things up, he's going to jump in towards the Ember Spirit. A little bit of a dodge there. Gets Purified, gets bashed, and Resolution is going to drop. Can't blame him for that one. You cannot. But man, IsGG Yawar, he is really good at this basher.
Never refuse gold given.
Oh no.
Fear not heresy. Healing sharpest.
Take me.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And cease.
Purification.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Be well.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Blessings. No sorceries avail.
Oh, debated.
My soul is ready. Proceed.
IzGG's movements in these fights is absolutely perfect. Moon is actually going to run into Yawar. That is not a place where an Abaddon wants to be. Even with that ultimate, he's going to use it first thing, which means Yawar knows that something must be up. He's going to back off. He can actually just turn around and kill Moon. No, he's going to play the safe role and is going to back off. But so many times in that fight, like poking at the high ground, is IzGG feigning their retreat, right? Like they back off with a couple of heroes, knowing that they have heals from Stand King, they have heals from sneaking, and if they just buy time, they'll be able to get another kind of cycle of damage off, another set of remnants and more chains, more sleight of fist, another couple seconds for the Ursa to wait for his attack combo to be up, more blink strikes and smoke screens for Ricky. And Thunderbirds, it seems like every single time took it hook, line, and sinker because they're like, oh, you know, we did a little bit of damage. They're trying to run away now. Let's go chase after them. But IzGG were just baiting the entire time because of how much sustain they have, and Thunderbirds are just constantly underestimating it. I'm not really sure what Sax is doing up here. He's luckily not going to get picked off. Fortunately for Thunderbirds, they're able to keep the Tinker alive enough so that they don't lose any racks, which is going to be absolutely huge here since they're so far behind. But IzGG, the way they're playing is just so much superior than how Thunderbirds are playing out this game. Saxa deploy the boat, and he's actually in a little bit of trouble. Is there remnant chains? Anything? No? Okay. He's fine. Everyone from Thunderbirds, though, they are getting picked off pretty easily.
For justice.
Death's bounty.
No sorceries avail.
Gold for my chest.
Healing shock.
Dire's top tower
Haste.
is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has
Purification.
fallen.
The armor of omniscience.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All walls will break.
Fates will return the past. Fails me.
Blessing.
It's just Yawar getting a little bit too confident there. The success of the Ursa has been a lot due to sneaking and being able to constantly drop those repels and heals on the Ursa. Even a couple of Guardian Angels just used to keep this Ursa at fit fighting shape and getting all the way down to the low ground, where his allies are still up top on the hill fighting. Obviously, there's no help coming there for the Ursa, so getting a little bit too overconfident is going to cost IzGG quite a bit. And we also see something else going on. It's the fact that Abaddon, his build, is really sick up against that Ursa. They had the Weaver in the smoke screen with Ursa on top of them. 9 times out of 10, that's a kill. So you have mischance from evasion. You have the Solar Crest being applied to the Weaver as well, and Ursa just can't hit him. So Ursa may have the damage to kill off the Weaver if he rolls lucky, but he will have to be very lucky. He at least has an Abyssal Blade now, so Blink Abyssal definitely a possibility. And now they're going to try to go for Kunkka. Not going to happen. No stuns here between a Ricky and an Omni Knight. Thunderbirds, they're showing some signs of life. It just does require, though, they split up and kind of separate sneaking from the rest of his allies.
purified. Be well.
Never refuse good given.
Weaver's able to pick up pretty substantial item here in this Orchid. The Ember Spirit, definitely a hero that needs to be able to cast the spells and doesn't have any good answers to it. If you slap that on an Omnite, he has no answers right now in order to get that off of him. So it's a potentially huge pickup for this Weaver. And of course, it's going to build into that extra damage component later on. So this Weaver is starting to hit pretty hard, and he just needs to make sure that he doesn't get kind of cheesily picked off. Speaking of cheesy pickoffs, Misery is going to both into Moon, or into CCNC with Moon, but Yuar's going to come in. Here comes the boat. It's going to once again be a failed boat, but the laser's going to start to bounce through. The Chaotic Offering has already been used. That's actually pretty good for Thunderbirds, all things considered. They're still firing the missiles thanks to the tracking from the Weaver bugs. And that's a big ultimate from IzGG down the tubes for very little, if anything.
Healing shock.
Your Shan has fallen to the radiant.
Immortality.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Healing shock.
We've been pushing out these waves pretty reliably and starting to build up some serious bulk. Aghanim Scepter, of course, already completed. Now Bloodstone as well. So, picking off Wii in a cheesy fashion seems like that's going to be harder and harder to do as this lane progresses. And this Tinker pick just by itself, getting Thunderbirds rather safe, as IzGG don't really have the best clearing. Ursa doesn't really do that all that well. Ember Spirit, now that he has the Maelstrom, definitely much better at it. But someone has to deal with that split push. CCNC is going to be that one to be pulled back every single time. A couple of heroes converging now into the Radiant jungle. Sentry Observer dropped. CCNC completely spotted. Get him killed off. Saxa looking for a torrent. Will throw it out and land it. Now jump in for the Frostbite. The silence is on CCNC, and with the laser coming in, that's going to be an Ember Spirit picked off. First pick off Thunderbirds have gotten in a very long time.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Purification.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Seems like this is the only time it's going to be worth it. You are, though, going to jump in. Moon really wants to finish off that shrine, and he will get it, but at what cost? Here comes the Golem. It's going to drop on pretty much everyone. The boat is going to be thrown out. Rum applied to everyone from the Dire side, but they're not dealing with UR just yet. BKB is going to start charging in. Off to the south, Resolution is going to peel away, and it seems like everyone's just trying to run for their lives. Mostly Misery versus that Ursa, but the BKB is running out. UR now going to get hit with the X marks. He has sneaking to give him a little bit of help here, and actually no one dies. So yeah, Rock and Golem, Rock and Boat rather, the two big teamfight ultimates in close quarters, but essentially end up canceling each other out.
This'll come in handy.
No sorceries avail.
Well, they caught Yuar over in the mid lane. He'll lose all of his mana. Still has that double life, so he'll be able to back off again thanks to the help from sneaking. Mana issues on Ursa. These are things you don't really expect to have happen until there's a Diffusal Blade on the Weaver.
Healing and harm.
Have two really nice items now purchased by the IsGG side. Two same Lotus Orbs, which will be one of Ember's few tools up against that Weaver and his Orchid, so just being able to slap that on himself. And the Omni Knight can do that to one of his allies, put the Repel on the other, and really juggle his safety. Really big item versus that Weaver, but also pretty good versus the Kunkka, versus the Crystal Maiden. You could do some pretty silly stuff if the Tinker targets you with the laser. Who knows? Getting rid of that blind also not too bad either. So these fat items are starting to come up for both sides, but it does seem like this game looks like a little bit of a throne game for Thunderbirds has kind of stabilized. A 12k deficit, 44 minutes in the game, is definitely not something that they cannot recover from. They just need to play very carefully, and they have been playing a lot more carefully since they've stopped dropping those deaths that happened like at 25 minutes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As good as Lotus Orb is, not having buyback 45 minutes in the game is going to be really costly. Still a minute of downtime for Thunderbirds to just go to town on these structures, and Resolution with the Bloodthorn has even more damage to do so. CCNC doing what he can to hold over in mid, and once again he'll bounce out of there and he'll be just fine, but the push of the tier 2 tower in the mid lane opens the door now for Thunderbirds to look at a 2-Rax lead, as they're going to go to work on bottom. Stan King doesn't even have his ultimate, so what can a Warlock do except for throw bonds and hope that no one is going to call his bluff? He will do just that. Well, he'll do pretty much nothing. That's 1 Rax taken in 30 seconds. This tier 3, definitely a viable pickup here for Thunderbirds. They're now going to equalize that disadvantage. Again, it's pretty easy for them to do so with the heroes that they have. 15k, 14k disadvantage, not a big deal. It's now going to go straight to 0. CCNC going to get a pretty nice Shiva's Guard with this smoke screen on top of everyone as well. They'll try to drive him back. The boat will almost connect onto the Riki. Space creation techniques from GG just to try to buy a little bit of time. Moon is going to be kind of left behind by the rest of his squad, but Ursa and Omni's arrival is a little bit slow incoming, and CCNC is getting really far ahead. Got to be careful, still with no Warlock Rock. Thunderbirds will group up and will retreat as a team. Take down the tier 3, but not the Rax, so it is only 1 Rax advantage for Thunderbirds. Definitely not something that IsGG cannot handle. But with the Tinker on Thunderbirds, yeah, the map has opened up a lot more now.
Purification.
Oh, and he's hexed.
These embers swell.
healing, and harm!
A golden thread.
This'll come in handy.
Somehow, CM with no Midas is able to pick up another Sheep Stick. Still, that Lotus Orb is going to be pretty nice. The repel from sneaking is a necessity at this stage, but with no Ember Spirit, what the hell are they going to do? They're going to drop the ultimate into 4 from the Warlock. It's really good. Does a lot of damage onto the Weaver, but he'll time-lapse it all the way back. He'll be perfectly fine. Misery. He's going to channel his ultimate for a little while. The Ursa, he's going to be hexed up in the front, and he needs some help desperately, but it looks like it's too late. He'll put up his ultimate, but there's no help coming to him. He's down. At least he got enough gold for buyback. He's going to jump in, gets another Sheep Stick off on the Omni Knight. More missiles to follow. Sneaky will barely purify himself in time. Ursa forced to buy out, but one hero less now for SGG as they lost their smoke screen. That's going to be 2 racks in favor of Thunderbirds. Now at the 9k advantage is GG. Couple of sloppy plays, having no buybacks at this point in time. A big mistake from the Radiant.
Purify!
Tribute to my house.
Haste!
All bonds will break. Healing.
Absolutely need Yawar and sneaking to be tag teaming the entire time, because if Ursa is sheeped up a single time, the fight from SGG pretty much goes to shit. They are going to face up against an Aegis and a Cheese shortly. Resolution with either one of those is going to be almost impossible for SGG to handle. If he's going to decide to grab both, no idea what SGG are going to do to kill off this Weaver this many times. They need to, like, kind of get another cheesy pick off. We got to look towards that 25-minute phase where Thunderbirds are really sloppy, except I don't think Thunderbirds are going to make that mistake again. Start splitting up and get picked off. They have one objective, it's top lane, and I'm pretty sure they know that the buyback stat is pretty bad for SGG. Yeah, and they're gonna start fighting outside the base smokescreen. The element of surprise, a necessity here for SGG. They're going to jump forward with Lee, jump back. In fact, Moon Meander, they're going to bypass him completely, jump forward for the Kunkka and the CM. Do a lot of damage, not dead just yet, but they will be able to bring down one. The CM gets a little bit of a heal back and will do a little bit of damage. Smokescreen, though, on the deck, and Moon Meander can't cast, but Resolution's not being dealt with, striking in the sneaking, but Yawar finally has a chance to get on top of Resolution, but he does time-lapse that first life out. He does have the Aegis. Yawar is going to fall, and with Omnet, the survive, that's going to be GG. 11k advantage total for Thunderbirds. Look at this graph. I don't know if you're ever going to see one like it. Thunderbirds out of the way. Claim victory. A very tricky win, but hey, a win's a win.